what's up? So before we get into today's video, I wanted to go over a few things, some things that happened this past week and some things that happened the week before. Just a couple of new things that I'm really excited about and just wanted to share with you guys real quick. So first off, I bought myself a printer and started printing out my photos. This is a photo I took when I was in Coney Island with my Pentax 6.7 on Kodak 400. It's the first photo I've ever printed. It might not look super great right now, but it's the first one I've ever done, so cut me a little slack. But what that means is I'm going to start printing out my own prints now and then changing my Squarespace website to have my prints on there for sale. So keep an eye out for those soon and you'll be able to have some of my awesome photography in your apartment or home. Next, I finally bought myself a proper light meter, actually a proper spot meter, a Kodak Zoom Master Z or L508, I don't know, but it's an incandescent. So you got that up there, and then we also have the spot meter so I can take spot readings for landscape photography when I get my 4x5 camera and all of that. This will come in super handy, so I'm super excited about this thing. I've already used it once with my Pentax and I haven't seen the results yet, but I'm sure it's going to be doing a great job. But I am super excited to use this and can't wait to take some photos with my 4x5 camera when it gets here and use this to properly spot it. And then finally, I finally started my own podcast for my photography called The Photog Podcast. It is on all of these services right here. And it's just something I've been wanting to do for a little while. I have another podcast with another friend of mine, but we talk about all different types of things. And this one I wanted to primarily focus on photography and photography related things. So check it out. Just like the Bernie Sanders meme, I am everywhere. So make sure to check it out and I appreciate any sort of feedback or comments on it. And with that out of the way, let's talk about today's video. Hold on. So remember this guy from last week's video? The Olympus Zoom 2000 that I made a whole video on about when I went to Coney Island and used some Kodak 400 through here. You can actually check out that video right here. Go check it out. Well, I also recently took it out and put some Kodak 400TX black and white film through it. This is a film I've never actually used before, and I wanted to give it a shot and see what it was like, and I wanted to use it on that camera because I was testing out to see how good it was, and I just wanted to share a couple of shots I got from it. There's only 24 shots in a roll, but this film is film that I've been wanting to use for a really long time. It's a film that a lot of journalists use in their camera. It has good contrast and it's sharp and it's nice and clean, low grain, and it's very popular with like photojournalists back in the day. And I've been wanting to shoot with it for a while, and I'm actually going to end up buying some for my Pentax 6.7 and shooting it in there in medium format and see what I can get. But I loaded the film in there and I actually just walked around here in Astoria where I live. There's a lot of great things, and it started my journey actually in the hallway over there because the light was looking real good coming through my window, and I got a couple of photos in my stairwell. One photo is a little blurry, but the other two are kind of unique, and I kind of like it, and you can check this out right here. These were photos taken in this hallway over here. Next, I just literally went outside and there was a gentleman across the way that was rummaging through the trash, getting recyclables and everything like that. And I just shot with the zoom from where I was on my side of the street and got this image. And then as we walked down the street, I popped off a couple of more. And then next we walked down the block and there was this one like house that was covered in sunlight while everything else around it was just covered in shadows, and I felt I had to get it. It actually came out really good, and I really like this one. So after that, I made my way onto the subway platform and was able to get a couple of shots on the subway platforms. I'm a huge fan of the subway platforms and the subway in general here, even though it's a little late sometimes. I do enjoy the subway and all the architecture it brings with it. And I took a shot of the actual station, and then I was fortunate enough to get at least one shot of the train approaching. And And that actually took me into the city. It took me down into Soho because my main purpose of this was I wanted to document my journey as I was going from my home to Bleecker to drop off my film for the weekend. And I was just popping shots off with this camera. Again, this camera is really great because it is a point and shoot, but it also has a zoom lens and it has a pretty decent lens on it. So with combining it with the really good film that is Kodak 400TX, I was able to get a bunch of really beautiful shots on my walk to Bleecker. So those are the majority of the shots I actually took on my walk. Again, I really enjoy this camera. It was only, again, like I said last week, it was only 20 bucks on eBay. And it's impressed me so far. I mean, this past weekend I was walking around Astoria again with my trusty Canon AE1, my favorite little 35mm, and I had some 400TX in here and it jammed and I lost all the photos I took that weekend. So again, I really enjoy that camera and it was a great find. I actually have another 2 cameras coming this week. One that is a half frame camera, and then the other one, which is a surprise that I'm really excited to take some photos with. That'll be in a video probably like a month from now after taking photos and developing it. I really enjoyed shooting 400TX. I compare it a lot to Ilford HP5, but Ilford HP5 is a little bit more contrasty. This is a little bit more clean, but I like both variants, and it makes me want to shoot more black and white because black and white is very artistic and I'm really starting to enjoy it. So thanks for checking this out. I hope you enjoy those photos. And again, I'm starting to make prints, so you might even see some of those photos printed. I'm getting some smaller paper in the mail because this is kind of big paper. And make sure to check out my podcast. It's like I said, it's just me just talking about photography. I'm gonna have guests on for photo talks and talk about people's work and things like that. I'm super excited about it. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please leave a comment, a like, a thumbs up, a subscribe. All of that means so much to me. Remember to just shoot, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.